take a couple of minutes and tell us about the importance of mental wellness for entrepreneurs and how it impacts their overall success. Go for it.
You bet. What a great topic. Now, first of all, I want to let everyone know that our mental wellness is our responsibility. It's not the responsibility of other people. Other people can help us to build on our mental wellness, but the overall responsibility for our mental wellness lies with us. Can you hear me?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. So when we think about this, is that how can we discuss the importance of mental wellness for entrepreneurs? It is a matter of that narrative I was talking about before. For example, if you are a new business owner, you're starting a new business, most of us, remember I said that we are more similar than we are different? A lot of us might suffer from thinking that we are out of our league. We might get this idea that we don't belong, or what am I going to do? It's some people call it imposter syndrome. And some people say, well, I don't deserve this and I'm not good enough. And again, that's the narrative that you start to tell yourself. So using the example of a new business owner, it's important to recognize that you can change the narrative. It's as opposed to telling yourself, I am so intimidated by this. You can change the narrative to say, I've got so many great things I want to learn from this. And that changes the energy I was talking about earlier. Fear and excitement are the same energy. They're just a different way of looking at it. For example, if you're afraid of doing something, you say, well, I'm afraid of doing this. I can't do this, as opposed to like, I have to do this. I have to run a business, as opposed to saying, I get to run a business. You see the difference? It's the same thing. I have to go to the gym, as opposed to I get to go to the gym. I have to lose weight, as opposed to I get to lose weight. Once you start to tell yourself, okay, I get to do this. I am not an imposter. I have to start asking the right questions. What must I do to get to where I want to be? And so this is the mental wellness component. It is talking to yourself affirmatively and getting rid of that negative narrative. Now, a lot of people say, well, how do I get rid of the negative narrative, Paul? How do I take control of my mental wellness? And I turn this voice that sounds just like me, by the way, that voice that tells me I can't do nothing, I can't do anything right, I can't run a business, I can't get sales, that voice that's talking to you, I can't negotiate, that voice sounds just like you. So it is lying to you. Just remember that that voice is lying to you and that you are a warrior. You were created to be a warrior. You are as every bit as special as anybody else. Nobody in this world was created better than you. Nobody in this world was given more opportunity than you. We're all created equal. We're all given the same opportunities. And it is up to us to step into our greatness by challenging that voice. Now, my self-sabotaging voice comes into my head, and it will happen to even the greatest of people, the biggest of motivational speakers. Tony Robbins suffers from this, but the difference between, say, for example, Tony Robbins, who gets that negative dialogue or narrative in his voice, and maybe somebody who's not able to take it, he is aware. He's aware and he knows what to do. Me, I've given my voice a name. You may want to try this. If you have a negative voice in your head that drops in and you're aware, it drops in, for example, I'm going to use myself. Hey, Paul, there's no way that you can start this new business. It's just too much work. It's too this. I've identified that that's the voice. That's someone who sounds like me, but it's not me. And I have to challenge that voice. So you know what I've done? I've given my voice a name. I call mine Bob. And there's a funny story here. Bob is someone from my past, and he was a speaker, and he's quite influential in certain circles. And he was my buddy. And he was saying, you know what, Paul, I'm going to introduce you to these people and they're going to connect you and you're going to be able to speak on stages. And you're going to be doing. And I said, hey, Bob, thank you so much. This is so nice. So he would bring me to these events. He would do the speaking and wouldn't introduce me to anybody. So he lied. Now, I'm foolish. I believed him and I went the second time and the third time until I realized, hey, you keep slapping yourself. He keeps slapping you. That's not fun. And when I realized it was getting slapped and he was lying to me, I said, okay, wait a minute. You know what, Bob? I don't believe you anymore. And he no longer became part of my circle. So I disassociated with it. But now I call my lying voice Bob. So when Bob drops into my head, I say, hey, Bob, get the heck out of here. You're lying to me again, and I don't want you here. I get to close the door. See ya. And I replace that narrative with positive narrative. Your mental wellness is your responsibility. Did you want to say